To throw this in at the beginning of a hunt. This was found, no, 13 years ago. I pretty much guarantee it was exactly 13 years ago. And I grabbed an old detector that I had and headed out into the hills by where I was living. Found a house site and ended up detecting these two things. Now they remained lost at my parents' house until recently. And they were like, "What are these?" And I remembered the whole deal. So this is a lithograph of some sort. You can see the name on there. It's actually written backwards, but you can see it's Mrs. And I'm sure that they deciphered it. I think they said they told me they'd read it. You probably stand in a mirror and read it backwards, but I'm bad with Old English to start with. But yeah, that's Mrs. something on a plate, bronze or copper, printed that lightly and printed backwards. So, any clues or guesses to what it is? You know, every time somebody says it's for printing, I'm like, it would most likely be raised. It would be backwards, but I can't imagine that, you know, it's so light, it just wouldn't print real good. You'd have to ink this whole surface, hoping that those little lines would be left uninked, and that just, it's not how you do a stamp. So, any ideas? The little bending is because when I found it, it was from a site that the site had been sitting there abandoned, and then the fire came through, was more the sense I got from it. Not that the place had burnt down in a fire, but you never know. And then this, which is pretty amazing, it got researched, and I guess it is a watch fob, is the closest thing that could be found to it. And it is either at a bronze, I believe it's bronze, and this just blew my mind to find. The site itself is incredible, but what it is, it says Panama Pacific Exposition, and if you see the details in it, it's awesome. It's like everything from California. And I guess these were sold at the to commemorate the World's Fair that we had here. On what became Treasure Island. So it's in the San Francisco Bay, where the Oakland Bay Bridge spans the San Francisco Bay. The island in the middle that you land on was converted and made into a fairgrounds, and they actually filled in a piece of the bay to make a little man-made island that's still there. And the whole waterfront of the actual city of San Francisco, what's left of it is the Palace of Fine Arts with the huge cement angels looking down into the pillars and stuff. If you've ever been there by the pond, that whole waterfront looked like that, like they do Olympic villages now. So San Francisco was like the site of something as big as the Olympics, and it was the Panama Pacific Exposition. And the Panama Canal, I guess, had just opened. Let's see. I guess that's all I really wanted to say about that. I just wanted to show it off. I don't want to make it too long, but just amazing little piece. You know, one of the coolest things I've ever found. And not one of a kind, but, you know, not too common. And just rediscovered. So it was a find that was just refound. I'm glad to be able to share it with an online community now. That's really cool. At that time I had not the ability to get the detail. I can imagine it was even more detailed and even sharper. You will see the fountains and stuff. Okay, on with the hunt. Well, it's drizzling a bit, but that's why we got the AT, all-terrain. This is the first target out of the ground, and it is a old copper bolt. Welcome back to the quest for details. We're on a quest for treasure. So we're just in a little park. They do performances here. It's in the town that I live by, and little public park. And then this is the Lions Club that we're on the corners of, and we have an 82 signal. Right there. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's our second memorial, and it's a 70 something in the fading light. Okay, here's our next. That was a little bit lower, like a 70 something. Oh, and that's why, because it's a washer. Okay, next. Okay, already pinpointed this one. I believe it's right about there. It was an 80 on the Garrett AT Pro, of course, is what I'm using out here. And oh, it's not a coin at all. It's D. So I'm on a little hunt. I gave myself. I really wasn't that optimistic. I have to be, honest. I've been here a few times before and been skunked. I've seen other people here. It's like the main park. So I came down, started gridding it off. I got a ring. It's the first ring of 2019. Let me look inside. I'll see if I can see a hallmark. It's at least turquoise. That's awesome. Yep, right there. On the inside, I think I see 925. Definitely a mark. We'll look at it. We got the AT Pro up with its sensitivity in full high, and get stuff like 6 inches down, like big brass nozzles. So with a ring to start off this little hunt, could be anything there. I think that I'm getting no high signals, but plenty of others. Okay, this hunt's probably coming to an end, so just a couple more live digs here. This one's an 81. Let's see if I got it in there. No. Go ahead and make this easy. Again. I cannot make out what that says. It is my brightest light. And my closest zoom is at 85. Works. It's cleaning up more and more, and the black on it looks like tarnish on top of silver. So here's our cleanup for those two little stops. Not bad. Not bad. There's our pennies, nickels, dimes, and even zipper, pop tops, nozzles, caps, and such. Thank you for coming with me on that one. It was pretty short, but sweet. We'll see you next time on Quest for Details.